we're gonna play that for you.
Yeah, so just as the video is about to roll here, what you're about to see is some Unilock natural stone. We've back buttered it. That's going to create that bond bridge, that thin blue line you see there. That's going on top of the Ardex mortar that we use. I believe we use the X90, but you know, any of the different mortars depending on your application. There's a scratch coat there, and that's going right on top of the poured concrete pad.
Just a quick review. Good points along the side. Concrete, structurally sound.
Yep.
AM100 if you need it. SK175 for waterproofing and crack isolation. And then you're going to trowel on your Ardex mortar, and you're going to back butter on the slab.
So just a brief introduction here. The first thing that I learned is to have your site properly staged. Again, this is just going to help with efficiency. Clay mentioned the great working time of the mortars, but there's no need to waste any additional time reaching for stuff. It's good to have everything at your fingertips. Here's a roll of SK175, the waterproofing membrane. You're going to see that in action, and a couple of the other various mortars that we're using. The other thing we have staged is all of our tools. So you're going to want a drill and a mixing paddle to mix your mortars. We've got a couple different margin trowels. We've got what I believed was pieces of rubber rectangles on a handle, but was come to found that they're actually called grout floats. There's our V-notched and our square notch trowels. Those are going to be very, very important. We're using those quite a bit. A couple different mallets just to help with heights and leveling. And we also have some screed bars and a level, of course, to keep things nice and straight and level. And finally, a hand broom to keep things nice and clean and keep the surface nice and clean. One other thing that's really important when you're mixing mortars is you're going to want the proper respiratory protection. So an N95 mask to make sure you're keeping all the dust and silica out of your lungs.
Perfect.
Jay, what was my first tip here? What was the first thing that you told me to do?
Always add mortar to water.
It's almost like we knew that was coming, eh? Look at those fancy words popping up on the screen there.
And here, this is a good trick that I showed Nick too. We read the directions on the bag, and it said to use a slight range of amount of water, and I picked the middle road, which was 5 liters. I cut a hole at the 5 liter mark so that when Nick was filling up the pail, if he tried to overfill it or underfill it, he wouldn't really be able to. He just fills it up until it starts spilling out. He gets 5 liters every time. It's really important to have your mortar mixed very consistently every single time you go to do an installation.
So you saw me applying a little bit of AM100 there just to kind of smooth our concrete board that we're using for this mock-up.
Totally. Just for demonstration purposes, just to show all the steps. We didn't really need to do it with a small crack like that.
Now I'm using a V-notch trowel, and I'm trying to spread our mortar in a nice thin layer to adhere the waterproofing membrane on top of. You might notice that I'm struggling mightily. Part of this is my inexperience, but part of it is ignoring what we recommend as a scratch coat. So again, a scratch coat, just using the flat end of your trowel, getting just a nice thin smooth layer down, and that's just going to give the mortar something to grab onto when you're combing it out with your V-notch. And here's a couple shots of Jay rolling out the waterproofing membrane.
And you'll notice that I'm walking on it right away, which is totally fine. I'm going to be walking on it in order to seat it into the mortar. And I used one of the grout floats that Nick showed earlier, but you can use anything flat if you have a trowel around or something else to smooth it out and just to really seat it into that mortar, to embed it into the mortar. And best practice here would be to start in the middle and pull towards the outside.
Ardex does have rolls of seam tape to be able to make sure that you're closing off all of your gaps. You just butt the layers up against each other, and you can use the seam tape right over top. So now we're showing a little bit closer angle of back buttering. So a couple of key points here. One, it should not take you this long to back butter a tile. That's safe to say, guys?
Oh, it's safe to say. It's my favorite part of the video. Every time I watch it, it's amazing. And like, believe it or not, this has not been slowed down.
In fact, I think it's been sped up a little. I struggled mightily with this again. Be kind. It's my first time doing it. But there are a couple things that I learned even right away from the first tile. One, again, no scratch coat. Scratch coat is really going to help speed up adhering that mortar to the stone. Another thing that I think I'll give myself a little bit of credit here if you'll allow it, Jay. The
Oh,
coverage on the stone is really, really good. It's about 100% here. You want a minimum of 99%.
yeah, 95% is very good. Nick is going for more than 100%.
Thank you. Yeah.
But hey, it's practice, right?
Absolutely. The last thing that I wanted to point out here while you're getting a nice clear shot at it, the lines don't need to be perfectly straight. I'm getting a little bit meticulous, I guess would be the polite way of putting it, but they do all need to be in the same direction. And then it's important that that direction's running the same way as the direction on your base. And the reason why, Jay, as you taught me, maybe you can enlighten the others here.
Sure, yeah, you just want to allow the air to have a nice pathway out. You don't want to trap any air underneath the tile or the natural stone. So combing them all in the same direction, as you collapse them when you're pushing down in a slight twisting action, you're allowing the air to escape. You generally would want to go towards the shortest length of the tile. So if you had like a 36 by 48, you would want to run them the 36-inch way, just so there's a shorter distance for the air to get out here. We're working with a 12 by 24 tile here, and it's totally acceptable to do it the way we've just done it there.
Yeah, that's some Buccini Bluestone, a really beautiful product out of Tuscany that we supply at Unilock. It was a gorgeous stone, really nice to work with.
Yeah,
now,
nice flame finish. That's beautiful stuff right there.
Jay, I noticed you applied the mortar in a couple different directions. Nothing wrong with that. It's just on your last pass, we want to make sure the lines are going all the same way.
You want to comb them all in the same direction before you apply the stone.
And the importance of having no air inside the mortar layer underneath.
If you trap air, you potentially could trap water, right? If the water gets underneath there and has a little bit of space to sit, you could potentially pop the tile in a freeze thaw